Hello everyone and welcome to Moonride. This is Dave Johnson, Shang the Man on the Moon, and I'm getting the cool light again. I've got a lot of stuff to tell y'all, and it's too much for one video. So I'm just going to point out this one observation, and I will be making videos all weekend to tell you a little bit more about what's going on with me and my voting, etc. One thing that I will just tell you before I do this channel, I don't know how political it's going to be, but I was tuning into Kamala throughout and seeing her with her sort of justice. Now, what I see is that sort of justice on a long sort of almost like a road. It looks like a river in a sense ahead. There's a final point. So I just want to point out that let's try to adjust the light. Trust me, guys, I didn't plan this. It's just happening. The the question here is, maybe we were all right. It's just a question of timing. And maybe we gotta experience a few months of the orange one before something changes. We don't know what universe has in store. I do notice that none of the things that are happening now in the administration are at all popular. So I'm just going to channel here and see who shows up and what they talk about. So I've gone through a bunch of sort of entrances and portals here. I feel like I'm getting to a council, and it's like a council of light. I get the word one. There's just a circle, and they're all sort of, I guess you could say, dressed in white. They show up as both male and female figures. One figure stepping forward. Whew. Can you tell me your name? Again, I got Aeon. Can you show me something that lets me know you come from the light? Okay, I'll take that. Good. For those of you learning to channel, I always recommend this. Ask them to show you something so you know that they come from the light. If it makes you feel good, they're from the light. All right, Aeon. Sometimes times need to be tumultuous. This doesn't sound like many of your spiritual communities. There is a great tendency to imagine that only the positive is spirit. It is all spirit. The shadowy things teach, and that is the way that it must be. There are elements of light that teach or make you feel good, but they are not as, let us say, fruitful as the shadows. It is difficult to approach this, say this to you, because if we do, then we are saying that it's all okay. The evils that you experience are somehow justifiable. We cannot say this. It is, in fact, not exactly true to perceive things in this way. It is much easier, of course, if you believe in multiple lifetimes and you can see life as an experience to learn from. That is, no matter how bad the things come to pass, you will always be learning. Perhaps you will be learning more. But this is a tricky message. Of course, then you will think we are justifying it or saying that the behavior of some is okay. It is not okay for people to behave in dark and evil ways. It is, however, the reality of where you are in the universe. Accept what the reality is without making it worse. It is made worse if your response is one that is, let us say, extreme. Understand that the things that you see on your devices, television, YouTube, etc., are extreme versions of the reality. They are not reality. That is one thing that you are learning now, is the difference between the reality that you live in, the friends, the people you work with, all of those things around you, and what you see on television or other viewing devices. These are different things. It has come to pass that those things are now presenting as one thing, and they are not. You can say, of course, that some of those things that you're seeing on your devices are having an effect on the rest of you, and they are. But do not make that effect extreme. That is, you have a way to mitigate what you see and to understand it and to apply it to your life. The power of those who would manipulate you is made even stronger by creating a reaction. Much of the politics that you see right now are just reactions that are being created, in fact, manipulated by those who are in power. Do not give them this power. See what is happening around you, understand the social and political situation that's around you, and act accordingly. Try not to take it personally. Try not to get angry, for that is the manipulation. One thing that is extremely important now is that you be with yourself, that you be with your community, that you do what you can do. This is an evolution, and that evolution is good. You have spoken many times about the new earth. In the new earth, there is a sort of taking responsibility, if you will, of your own life and your own place within your community. The situation is, in fact, demanding that you do this so that you can move on in consciousness. We don't want to minimize your suffering. We don't want to tell you that it isn't real. It is real. The question is, how can you react with it? If you think about this, you will be okay. Whatever happens in the next few years, you will survive. It may not be pleasant, and you may have to change. You may have to fight, of course, peacefully for your rights. But in the long run, you will have expanded. You will have taken power. One thing we notice is that those who should be preserving your power, those who should be making certain your vote counts, are not doing their jobs. It has become easy for them not to protect you. It has become easy because they believe that with their situations, they are above the fray, if you will. It also might simply be that now they can collect a paycheck. No matter what goes on for others, they can still collect a paycheck and live perhaps under the radar. Heroes need to be formed. Peaceful warriors are being formed, and that is all of you. And when we say a peaceful warrior, we do not necessarily mean you need to show up at every protest. What we mean is that you can be simply kind to a neighbor. You can work together with others in a positive fashion. You can create groups which do not discriminate against other groups. All of these are great advances towards a new earth. Taking responsibility does not mean you have to be the focus of great drama. It can simply mean calling a friend, or asking for help, or realizing that there are more opportunities here than you might originally have seen. If there is too much focus on an outcome, then you become dependent on that outcome. Now that you see a reality around you, the simple question is, what can you do? How can you help yourself and others? How can you keep your leaders in check and responsible? These are leaders on every side. That is not a one-sided engagement, let us call it. Now is the time. Will you participate? Will you become greater in yourself? That is what the new earth is. It is a place of greater responsibility. It is also a place where you sit back and evaluate your feelings and the situation and come up with the right solution, perhaps a simpler solution than you might not have seen until now. We do not wish to patronize. We do not wish to say that you are doing anything wrong. We come here to comfort you, to let you know that this is as it should be, and that you are evolving, even if you do not notice. Your culture is also evolving, even if it seems to be at a low point. We can say that this is among the lowest points that you will experience. We can also say that shadow doesn't last. It believes it can last. It can extend itself a bit longer, but it will not last. Eventually, people will see the truth as they experience it. If they have relied on their machines and devices to tell them for whom to vote, the reality of how this really works will soon become apparent to them, and they will put down the devices and start marching together with you. This is, in a sense, how it must be. A society divided by 50 and 50 cannot move forward very well. It might simply be that some negative effects have to take place for 50% of the people, for a few of them to change their minds, or for those who have not been active to show themselves and move forward. Also keep in mind there is a whole generation of people that do not yet have their power, who are observing, who will know when it is their turn to vote what the stakes are. We want to send this message with love, and we would suggest that in your meditation you spend some time loving the self. Ask universe to heal your hearts, because they are indeed in a crisis. We would also ask that you pray for all of humanity. Do not forget to pray for the self and also those you love. This will do far more good than watching another video and doing what you call doom scrolling. Spend time with the self. Don't hesitate to look at the good things that you have around you. If you focus on the positivity, it will create positivity. And now, with this message, we will depart in love. All right, thanks so much for watching.